Concussions can happen anywhere at any time, but there are ways you can help protect your children and teens.
It's impossible to prevent a concussion. I mean, just walking down the street, going to school, going to PE class at school, riding your bike, there's always a risk of suffering a head injury. So there's really no way we can prevent concussions. What we can do, what we're trying to do with this movement is trying to prevent the long-term effects of mismanaged or unrecognized or mistreated concussions, and that's what we're trying to do. There have been some equipment modifications just recently, such as football helmets, that have been deemed to hopefully reduce the risk of concussions. And really, there's no study out there that shows a certain particular football helmet can reduce the risk of concussions. In fact, the football helmets were never designed to prevent concussions in the first place. Back in the old days, where the players weren't wearing helmets, or they were just wearing basically leather straps with a chin strap, they were designed to prevent lacerations, goose eggs on the head, as well as traumatic brain injuries such as bleeding in the brain. That's what they were designed to prevent. They were never meant to prevent concussions. Now that we put the plastic shells on the helmets, which came to form in the 1930s, they've gotten better and better. So they're trying to, through new technologies with padding inside the helmets, they're trying to come up with ways to maybe prevent concussions from occurring inside the helmet, and that's really we haven't been effective in showing that. Other protective devices such as mouth guards, again, there's no studies out there that show a properly fitting mouth guard can prevent a concussion. Nobody's going to argue that a properly fitting mouth guard is going to protect dental injuries. That's proven. So they definitely need to wear those. But there's no study out there that says a mouth guard, whether it's a boil and bite that you buy at the local sports store or the very expensive custom one from a dentist. There's no evidence that shows that they can prevent concussions. The other collision sports such as ice hockey, youth and all levels of ice hockey, they're required to wear helmets. Again, not to prevent concussion, to prevent lacerations and traumatic brain injuries, and they're effective in doing that. Lacrosse, at least boys lacrosse or men's lacrosse, it's the same thing. They wear helmets and face guards to prevent facial trauma, head trauma, not necessarily concussions. And then something that's kind of new in the soccer world is soccer headbands. It may be wearing some kind of a foam headband to protect your forehead and temples. Maybe that can prevent getting a concussion from repeatedly heading the ball. Well, number one, there's no research out there that says repeatedly heading a ball in soccer causes concussions, and there's been no literature that says that wearing a very thin foam or pad around your temple is going to prevent concussions either.
Aside from sport equipment safety, parents can help protect their children against head injuries by making sure they are always buckled into a child's safety seat or wearing their seat belts. Wear helmets when biking and skateboarding, and make sure that safety gates are installed at the top and bottom of stairs for small children.
Education is really important, not only in making sure that kids doing an organized sport through school or at home, say like riding their bicycle, that they are using appropriate equipment and gear to protect themselves and prevent from having a head injury.